All right, guys, welcome back to the Team Never Quit podcast. This is our first ever episode in the brand new Team Never Quit podcast studio. Hope you guys like it. Make sure, if you're not already, subscribe to the show on YouTube, youtube.com. Team Never Quit. Search us. You'll find all of our videos we're putting out every single week. We drop episodes every Wednesday. And like we do every week, let's drop a Patreon question of the day, which comes from Glenn. Given the chance, would you guys go to Mars or back in time to meet a hero, and why?
Oh, back in time to meet a hero. Who the hell wants to go to Mars?
I don't think there's anything on Mars.
There's nothing on Mars.
You might be the first one to discover something there.
You didn't say that.
I mean, hey, you gotta
You
go to
just
Mars
said
for
go.
something. You gotta go for something.
Yeah.
Who'd you meet?
Abraham Lincoln.
Abe Lincoln. Joey, what about you, man?
Listen, guys, if I'm going back in time to meet a hero, it's either going to be Elvis or Teddy Roosevelt, because those are the two dudes that just seem to have the most fun in their life.
That was pretty solid. That was pretty
Man, I
solid.
kind of been on an Elvis kick lately. I was going to say Jesus and then Elvis.
So,
right?
all right. So that's the second time you brought Jesus up in a conversation like this. You can't go to Jesus. You can't do that.
You got time for a new.
Aren't you supposed to say that?
No, you can't.
I thought you were supposed to say
He did that. He did that on one of our other guests. Something similar to this. He's like, "Oh, Jesus," and I was like, "You can't say that."
It's like the Sunday school answer.
Teddy Roosevelt, man, that'd be a hard. I mean, you'd have to be young to hang out with that guy. He's rough.
I mean, he rode a moose across the lake, they say. I've seen a picture. I don't know if it's real or not, but if that's true, what else can you do? He had a badger in the White House, and he created all the parks. Like, the dude was awesome.
He's got a medal. He got a Medal of Honor for the.
One of our grandfathers was a Rough Rider.
Did you know
wow.
Roosevelt had a? Did you know he had a Medal of Honor?
No, I didn't know that.
It is.
It's in the White
Teddy.
House.
Yeah, in the Roosevelt room. Teddy Roosevelt got it for the Spanish-American War. I'm almost
Yeah, well, there's a picture we have of our
positive.
grandfather.
That's right.
How about being so cool, most people don't even know you got a Medal of Honor, and they still think you're cool.
Yeah. How legit is that? Is that right? Am I
Yep.
right?
Medal of Honor. Yep.
It's like that thing's somewhere.
First president ever to receive the Medal of Honor.
While he was a president?
I'll be the last.
It happened in 2001,
You
actually.
can't
So
fight in a war if you're the president.
Damn sure can. You're the commander-in-chief. Do
that'd
whatever
be
you want.
badass.
I guess back then you could do anything you
We
want.
hadn't had any that wanted to do it.
I guess back then, yeah.
Like if one of us got in there as commander-in-chief, we sent the boys out. You can bet we'd be out there with them.
All right, guys, we've got a great guest in store for you guys today. Johnny Joey Jones, retired United States Marine and Fox News contributor. He's endured 2 combat deployments, Iraq, Afghanistan, and 8 years of active service in the Marine Corps. Staff Sergeant Jones suffered a life-changing injury while deployed in Afghanistan as an explosive ordnance disposal technician. Joey, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
I'm gonna say-
I wish I were there with you. That studio
Look,
was
dude,
awesome.
you're totally missing out, man.
Hey, when we said we built this thing for you, man, you're the first one in
First
here.
guest, and you. I don't
We're
even
gonna
know.
have to we'll have to put something in here. Send us one of your legs.
I don't even know.
We'll hang it
Oh,
right
that's a
here.
Great
We're good.
idea.
You
Send
know what
us
I
a
mean?
broken leg.
We'll make it into
It'd
a
be easier
lampstand or
to
something.
send you one of the legs than one of the guns.
Yeah,
So
I'm
I'm
gonna
glad
put it
you asked
right.
for the leg.
Okay, so I want the over and under, but you send me a broken leg. I'm gonna put it right here, and it'll be my
Yeah, what are the ones you
cup
bust? Send it over to us,
Cup
man.
holder.
Yeah,
Cup holder.
Cup holder. Great. Life changing.
It'll be like the gavel when it's your turn to the conch. You gotta pass
pass
it
the
over.
leg. I'm gonna say Joey, since his not life altering, life enhancing wounds. Man, the guy definitely does. I mean, if he's sitting at a table, or you didn't know if he has his jeans on, short of him walking with a funny swagger, you wouldn't know that he has any injuries. That's how optimistic he is in life. Thanks for coming on the show, big man. Great to see you.
That's fun.
You're one of like the best looking Marines I've ever seen. I don't mean that in a gay way because I'm a Navy guy, but the hair, you got this total package, man. I don't know how you still find the energy to work. I struggle to get up.
You
and
work out harder now than you did before.
Yeah.
You do, don't you? It's kind of a thing, right?
Kind of not really. You know, in the Marine Corps, there's a lot more cardio and just like dumb stuff like the CrossFit stuff that you have to do. Now I can just focus on having big chest, big biceps, staying strong upper body, and just
Yeah,
kind
'cause,
of.
I mean, you really
It's
don't have to
almost
do
like more even
a leg
kill
workout.
than anything.
So you can literally get away with the Superman physique because back in the day, they make
it.
fun of us because we had the skinny legs. You know what I mean? I'm built more like a shark, right?
Bro.
But y'all is like
If I'm
titanium Terminators, right? And then, man, once you get married and have kids, you go to the dad bod. That was the best thing. So you don't have to do abs, right? You just have to do chest, shoulders, and make sure the bicep and the forearms hang out, right?
I don't even.
You
know
know,
that
the buddy-
We
anymore.
should create our
Had a
own
buddy in
workout
the
called
Marine Corps
the
from
dad
Missouri.
bod equivalent, right? And This is what you do to get your and make our own standard.
But you can't be a part of it because you look like a bodybuilder.
No. As long as your chest sticks out further than your belly, whether you're a boy or girl, it works out. That's what my buddy Justin Carl used to say.
That's what I'm saying, right?
That's some good advice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start lifting heavy on chest again.
Traps and lats.
All right, buddy.
Thanks again for coming on.
Yeah,
We've been
looking forward to doing this. Where are you at? So where you at right now? Where'd you got?
I'm in an undisclosed location, otherwise known as my basement, in the little gun room I put together during the quarantine. So I had a hammer and some time on my hands.
Are you serious?
Man, I was going to ask you if you did that during the quarantine because I was standing in mine, just kind of looking around, like, okay, I'm going to have to make some upgrades on this sucker, man. And so I'm going to take some of your ideas.
No, it's good. This stuff's awesome. In the cabinets I bought at Home Depot, I built the countertops and put some paint and stain, stuck it to the wall, and then this rack stuff. So it came together real easy.
You got all that at Home Depot? What about the racks?
Did you get the whole thing?
Yeah. I bought the broom at Home Depot.
I'm on my way to Home Depot.
Man, they sell everything at Home Depot.
All my guns are leaning in the corner.
No, the racks is a company. I mean, I guess you guys don't care if I say it. It's called Gallotech, and they're really cool. They gave me a big discount for being a crippled up veteran, and they were just cool about it and sent it to me in the mail.
I'm gonna need you to get behind me on that one, Joe.
Put a number down here, man. We can turn this whole space into one of them gun rooms.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, big man. Here's where we go. We want. Obviously, you have an amazing story, and it starts from where you come from, where you went, where you're going, and where you are now. If you would be so kind as to jump into, just kind of give our listeners, because everybody's looking for inspiration. Everybody's looking to, even I say this, I like to hook my wagon or grab on the coattails of somebody who's just been through so much but continues to strive as much as you do. You know, I'm a big fan of your hero. I mean, you're one of my heroes just because I'm going to tell a story about you later on in the episode. It's going to just like amaze people, I promise. But if you would indulge, give us your never quit story, or man, just tell us a story.
It's an easy day, man. You can't get me to shut up. What are you talking about? But,
That's the truth.
No, I'm from North Georgia, man. I grew up in a 1966 single wide. My dad laid brick and block, and we didn't have anything, but we were happy, man. We had fun. We went hunting. My uncle raced dirt track. We were a big family with two uncles and my grandparents. But as far as money or goals go, that wasn't part of it. You just went to work. I laid brick and block before I learned how to do, geometry. And that was just kind of life. And so there weren't any expectations other than maybe my parents wanted me to graduate high school because nobody I was kin to ever had before me. And so that was like the big thing, graduating high school. And then after that, I was like, man, there's other stuff out there to do. I tried college and I was a little bit too kind of, I guess, high strung for that. And the Marine Corps came a knocking, just like they do. They come find you, man. You can't run from the recruiters when you play football and stuff like that. So the Marine Corps became the next opportunity. I joined the Marine Corps thinking if I could just get through boot camp, that would be cool. And I'm always amazed at guys like you all, because, I hear you guys talk and I read your story, and I know that you went into the military with these big goals in mind. You had this confidence and this physical ability that even though I played football, I just really, that was never part of my life to think I could be, quote unquote, the best at something. So for me, joining the Marine Corps was my best chance at that, because that boot camp I figured was the hardest thing I would ever do. And Marine Corps has a very difficult boot camp.
All right, guys, let's take a second to thank one of our sponsors. Lightstream has been supporting our show for quite a while now. They're incredible, all right? Listen, 2020 has been a rough year for a lot of people. People have lost their jobs, people's businesses have closed, and I'm sure there are people out there who've had to use those credit cards to just stay afloat. And if that's happened to you and you want to erase your credit card bills, then a credit card consolidation loan from our friends over at Lightstream can help you mark them paid in full. I'll tell you right now, having a bunch of credit cards that have a lot of balances, that's intimidating. I've been there before, and I promise you now, if you have one loan that you can pay one payment every month, it is a lot more manageable. Lightstream believes that people with good credit deserve a better loan experience, and that's exactly what they deliver. You can quickly roll balances from multiple credit cards all into one single monthly loan payment, get a low fixed interest rate, and free up more money in your monthly budget. Say goodbye to those credit card bills. Take even more control of your money. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans have rates from just 5.95% APR with autopay, and there are absolutely no fees. You can even get your money the same day you apply. Again, Lightstream's been supporting us for a long time, and because of that, they want to support you guys. They want to help you guys out if you've been having one of those years where you had a lot of credit cards racked up. Just for our listeners, if you apply now, you're going to get an additional interest rate discount to save even more. And the only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/TNQ. That's lightstream.com/TNQ for an additional discount. lightstream.com/TNQ. Subject to credit approval. Rate includes 0.50% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/TNQ for more information.
And so that's what I did. Like, man, if I can get through this boot camp, that'd be awesome. And I did. I did really well. I ended up, someone told me early on, you can run your way through the Marine Corps. In other words, you can just physically labor your way through success in the Marine Corps, and you really can. And that was the one thing I had going for me. I'm probably a pretty smart guy, but more than anything, I just knew how to pick heavy things up and move them long distances, you know, and to include myself. And so after I joined the Marine Corps with zero experience in the military, no one in my family, like if you were in my family and you were, you know, a public servant, you were picking up trash on the side of the road because you got in trouble on Friday night. That was it. There were no,
Right?
you know.
Yeah, we had those down here too.
Hey, there you go.
And so that was like, I didn't know what the Marine Corps was. I thought everybody was basically in a line platoon, and some of us were just smart enough to learn other skills. That's really what I thought. So they sent me to be a radio technician, and like 3 months into it, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to do this for however many years they had me signed up for. And so I just started volunteering for stuff. I got to go do some cool things, get out of those little tech shops, and learned about EOD. 3 years in the Marine Corps, I volunteered to do that. Moved into it, and you know, got a couple of deployments, a bunch of bombs, and a couple of legs under my belt.
Man, I never heard it
Great
put
way of
like
looking
that.
at it.
Well, first of all, if you're moving bricks and blocks your whole life, man, that is geometry. Don't even sweat. You know that. But I never heard it said like that. It kind of kicks something in my head. You're right. So when we're growing up, and at what point in time you're like, do you have a military background in your family? Because with us, most people, you're right. They're like, hey, they just hear about the Army or the Marine Corps or the Navy, but they don't realize what that means. Like, we got a line as to what the SEALs were. That's something inside the Navy. You have to join one, but you're going to, I was like, yeah, I'm here in the big family, but I belong at that table over there, kind of deal. Did you just sign up to be a Marine? Because there are multiple different types of Marines.
Well, that was it. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, most people don't, right? That's kind of that's what I'm talking about.
Recruiter got him.
Most people don't know. They're just like, you're going to be a Marine. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Well, you'll find out.
Well, you know, the largest influence I had was Full Metal Jacket. And like the biggest, you know, I guess I could say this badass in that movie was a journalist, right? So like that was Joker, that was his job. And he ended up going through all kinds of combat and the, you know, the boot camp scenes. Like, you don't put two and two together that like, yeah, it might be cool that you all go to the same boot camp, but you don't go to the same place after that. Well, you know, in Full Metal Jacket, he went from boot camp to war.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so, like, I just assumed that's what everybody did.
That movie is so good, that boot camp
different
scene.
Areas.
That's why I didn't join the Marine Corps.
Yeah, if I would have been smart, I would have seen that movie and said, "Hey, man, come take
that
me."
was so Arlie, man. That whole thing.
That movie,
Awesome.
for everybody out there who hadn't seen that in my opinion, because my OCS DI was just the scariest son of a bitch on the planet.
Dude,
and I was already a
terror
SEAL.
stories about them dudes with that freaking hats,
Marine
man.
boot camp, man,
God
they
dang,
just
dude.
out of control.
And if people don't know this, if you join the Marine Corps and you go through boot camp and then you get out and you go into any other service, you don't have to go through their boot camp. But if you join the Navy and go through boot camp and get out and you want to go into the Marine Corps, you have to go back through Marine Corps boot camp. You guys get to clip out all that stuff. That's what we're talking about.
Terrifying.
Yeah, the chip on the shoulder's there, and I like there was some pride and like when the Marine Corps recruits you, it's kind of like if Nick Saban were recruiting a quarterback. He doesn't go find you; you come find him and sell yourself to him. You know, and that's kind of like that's how the Marine Corps recruiters acted. Especially, you know, when I joined in 2005, everybody wanted to join and go to war. So, you know, they had an air about them, and I like that. The one thing I will say though that I think you guys will understand this. You go to the Marine Corps, even if you go infantry, it's like you're being babysat and programmed. But for you guys to go from the Navy into the SEALs, it's like all the responsibilities on you to put out. They don't have to ride you because you got to want to be there, because if you don't, somebody else will. And like it's that grown-up mentality at that point. And that's what I was looking for after I got in the Marine Corps. And that's why I went EOD, because it's like that. It's like, hey, look, man, we only get to take so many of you. So if you don't want to be the guy, get the hell out of here. We'll bring the next one in. And that's what I was looking for. And I'm not trying to draw parallels between EOD and the SEALs, but like that was the experience I wanted once I got in the Marine Corps. And that's why I ended up going to EOD is I wanted kind of that grown-up opportunity. Like, hey, I'm in charge of if I get my stuff done, if I learn what I need to learn, and if I can keep up with the other guys. And I like that a lot.
Oh, well, it is parallel. Imagine one family, different brothers. And I mean, we learned how to build the bombs. You learn how to blow them up and build them. I mean, every time we would be out, the funniest thing is when somebody would look down and like, man, what is that? Is that a bomb? I'm like, no, it's just a bunch of wires. Man, whatever. EOD. And I remember Ramadi this first time, our guy was up there cutting some wires. He says he looks back and all he saw were green little eyes. And we must have been 50 yards back, bro. I mean, is it eyes all clear? You know, that kind of thing, man. So,
so everyone out there knows, I never went anywhere without an EOD guy was standing right next. He was either up on point or right next to me. And that put me in my comfort zone. Give me a little warm and fuzzy. Exactly what Marcus said, dude. If the dog sits or the EOD guy says halt the fucking patrol, we gone.
Yeah, seriously.
So you guys get done doing what you're doing.
I mean, you got to think in our world, y'all are unique, right? I mean, when y'all get assigned to us, so you're either with the 1 and 3, and everybody's like, man, what's he doing, man? Is he all right?
But it is.
I mean, taking care of better than the medic. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt y'all, but that's a big misconception in our world. The distinction that's us doing that to each other. For everyone else, they need to know that doesn't exist. Like when we throw the uniforms on, man, it's.
Yeah, because for us, you can like kind of be good at diving. I mean, obviously you're gonna be better than everybody else, but you can kind of be good, or you can kind of be a good shot. MEOD boys and girls, you're good.
You know the guys who good. Yeah, you know the guys who were kind of good, or they're just not there anymore.
Yeah, the simple truth, where our saying they took it away from us, but you're not going to take it away from us, is initial success or total failure. Like, but you got to have that mentality. Like, I'm living proof. There's some gray area, but the idea is like either you get it right or people die, and that's a good way to train. It's a good mentality. I loved it, man. I didn't get to work with you guys. I worked with MARSOC, and I got to support ODA. And what was fun for me is, no pride whatsoever. You guys go. Use your guns and kick the doors down and create a shitstorm and just let me know when you need me. And that was kind of like what it was. I'd be in the back of the patrol and, they're going in to roll somebody up or to go in and take a cache, which usually meant to blow up some building and all this fun stuff. And as long as I could, handle my weapon, I was along for the ride. That's what I loved about it. Like I didn't get, we did some jumping, didn't get wings, but we did some jumping out at that place called, it's like south of San Diego. I can't remember now. San Diego Skydive or something like that. A bunch of retired
Hotel Ranch. Yeah. We've been there.
And, I just got to do some cool stuff. Most of it was like by the seat of my pants because that team needed an EOD guy. And it's like, well, I'm an EOD guy. Let's go do it. But no, the reverence is there. And the coolest thing in the world is, the American people, civilians might not know much about EOD other than this ridiculous movie. But when you guys throw the pat to the back and say, like you're impressed by us, that means everything.
I thought that won an Academy Award. It did.
Great. Nobody ever likes the movie that's made about him. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like Pottage talked smack about Top Gun. I was like, I love that movie. I love Top Gun. I thought
you guys don't wear cowboy hats and polos underneath your.
I know, right? All wear Ray-Bans. I mean, that's a thing. I thought.
All right, so you were in 3 years, did a lad over to EOD. Give us kind of a lead in.
Who chirped you into EOD? Did you see a poster or something?
Like, man, that's cool.
You know what? The coolest thing for me was in 2000. I joined in 2005. In 2007, I went to Iraq as mounted security, just to provide security for. It was supposed to be convoys, and we got pulled over to do mounted security for EOD. So we were the quick response security for EOD. And actually, LAT moved into EOD my second month in Iraq. So I did 8.5 months in Iraq on the job training for EOD. So by the time I got to EOD school, as you'd say, I knew enough to be dangerous. But I really had an EOD deployment under my belt. And so I knew half the instructors that were there. I knew them, the Marines. And so EOD school was a really cool experience for me because I already had some, I wouldn't say seniority, but recognition within that very small
so community. You just had to go in there and get your nuts kicked in.
That's it. Yeah.
That's just the rite of passage then, right? You already got the crawls, man. You just had to go through it, right?
Well, the problem was that a microscope on me then because, you know how it is. You call it a pissing contest. It's like, oh, this dude, so-and-so said keep your eye on this guy because he thinks he's hot shit because he's done this before kind of thing. And then it takes a month or two to get that out, and then you just win them over with charm and have a good time. So, D school was awesome. It really was.
Marine Corps, win
it's
them
like
over with charm.
You learn how to learn it. You don't learn how to do it.
That's a good way of putting it.
And, so then I leave there. I go to Camp Pendleton. First, I go to MARSOC. They come and recruit 3 of us to MARSOC. It's kind of a crazy story. I got him last name Spratzov, Day, and myself. Spratzov and Day have been Marine recon. So they had, jump school, dive school, a bunch of other things under the belt. I could run with as much weight as far as you wanted me to. I can't swim my way out of the mud puddle. Never could. So they would both take me to the pool every day and try to help me figure it out. The 3 of us got recruited into MARSOC, and I spent 2 weeks proving that I was never going to learn how to swim, and they sent me back to ground support. And it's like, and so when I left the OD school, I never went to MARSOC. I went to ground support. And that actually ended up being awesome because I got to deploy right away, and it took them another year to deploy because they had to go do all the training. And so the bad part of that story is they both got killed that first year, and that's just how intense of a mission that was. So, tremendous amount of respect for those guys, especially the EOD guys that go over there. And so I went to first EOD company, a storied EOD company. They were one of the first in the Marine Corps, one of the first in the military. We were a platoon when I got there. That's how small and just like unique the community is. And this autonomous platoon within the Marine Corps that belongs to the support side and deploys with the infantry side. And like, it's just such a cool, unique atmosphere. We were in a condemned building. We had guys forward deployed. If a guy got hit or killed, the commander would walk out, plug in the beer lamp, would stop work, go play volleyball and drink beer because you got to keep that balance. Otherwise, it's in the back of your head, hey, so-and-so got killed and I may be next. And we trained for about 8 months. Didn't know when we were going to deploy. Had to be done training by January. We were going to deploy anywhere between there and May. Ended up going in March. Got there, and it was just, it was game on. It was crazy. It was a tremendous amount of work. And so we were all over the Helmand River Valley from Sangin to Nowzad to Marja, all the way down through some other places that aren't as famous. I ended up getting hurt in Safar Bazaar 6 months into the deployment, towards the latter half. I got hurt the first week of August. We were coming home in October. And there's a point, and you guys know this, in every deployment, there's like a turning point that's like, up until that point, it was like, man, let me get all the fun I can have. And then there's a point you hit where it's like,
there's a front and back. Yeah.
Never leave this tent again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, bro.
On the bookends.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bookends.
And, so it was like 2 weeks after that point.
Always is.
So,
always.
But that's part of it, man.
So give our listeners a little kind of an overview, if you don't mind, on what the experience was like.
There was this little town called Safar Bazaar. It was out in the desert away from the river. And if that part of Afghanistan, you got to be like within a half a mile of a river or you're just in the desert. And they grow poppy, so everybody pretty much lives next to the river to grow opium. And there was this little town out in the desert, and we as Americans or ISAF had left it alone, and it became this trading post, mainly for IED components. And so we had intelligence on it. We had watched it. We had tried to go in and do something there. Early on in my deployment, it didn't work. So we stood up this big effort, and we went down and basically took the town. It took us 5 days to take the town. As an EOD guy, I spent most of that time in my truck. I worked maybe 10 IEDs in those 5 days, and they were hooking and jabbing and small arms fire, a couple of IED hits. And then once we got into the town, it was gangbusters. I worked 38 IEDs in 3.5 of those 5 days, and probably a dozen that last day. Got woken up the next morning, and we had taken the northeast corner of the town, and we were starting to push out city block by city block, first the roads and then the buildings to clear the town. And we'd already found this giant storage facility that had just thousands of IED components in it. That's what we were there to do to begin with. And what happened is we had to let them know we were coming so the civilians would leave. That's just kind of what we do. And so what they do, they took all their IEDs and they put them in the ground. They made a minefield out of it. And that's why the numbers were so high. And so, with numbers like that, you're going to run out of luck. It's just going to happen. It's part of it. And so we took 200 Marines, 6 EOD techs, 3 two-man teams, my team got the short straw. We did the main effort and got up the morning of the 6th day. We were prosecuting, is what we call it, a road, and we had pulled a bunch of IEDs out of it and deemed it clear. And my teammate actually had moved a piece of ordnance called found ordnance, where we shoot something that doesn't blow up, the enemy takes it and harvests it. So he had picked it up and moved it. And I remembered from school, hey, that's not something you move, because you basically could start a timer on it and it might blow up. So I went over and kind of leaned over a wall to look at it and see if it were truly armed or if it had been spent. And honestly, I don't know what happened after that, because when I leaned back, I stepped on an IED that was there and threw me through the air. Really amazing experience. I'd watched IEDs blow up probably a half dozen times total with trucks or people. And but when it was underneath me, like, one, there's no noise, and two, like, everything just turns into a giant cloud. And so it's a real surreal experience. It doesn't knock you out unless you get hit in the head. A lot of people think you black out. I never blacked out. I landed on my back, and if you've ever seen Oh Brother Where Art Thou, like, I remember kind of having that, damn, I'm in a tight spot moment. Like, yeah. There's not much I can do right now. My left arm was twisted behind my back, so I grabbed my right arm, and we put our tourniquets on our shoulders and our hips, because if you put them any further out, they're probably going to get blown off with whatever you need the tourniquet for. So I reached up with my right arm to grab the tourniquet up here, and my arm was filleted open and the bones were broken. So when I reached up, my hand stayed in my lap. And I remember looking at it thinking, God dang it, man. Like,
it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt until you looked at it, though, right?
No, it didn't hurt for like what felt like an hour, so probably 30 seconds. Like, I did a lot of thinking before it started hurting.
Because you're trying to think about which part you want to, what hurts. Which one hurts the worst? Then I'll start feeling the hurt.
Like, there's a couple things. Like, my legs are gone.
So they were completely gone.
Yeah, from the knee down. I mean, they were, just like, I think what I saw was what was left in my pants, charred, and like, I was bleeding out, and I knew I was bleeding out, and the whole thing was like, I got to stop the bleeding. You want to live,
right?
And so right in front of me, like 30 yards, was this guy that had been standing beside me, kind of on the other side, and he was a Marine engineer, Daniel Greer, and he looked untouched, and he's looking back at me, and I just thought, man, he's knocked out. Thank God he's okay. And so I reached up and grabbed that tourniquet. It didn't go. And then I started going through, bleeding out of 3 limbs. I was hard to breathe. I didn't know if I had a punctured lung. I was losing my ability to breathe. And I was like, man, it's probably it. And so when guys started coming to us, I just started letting them know, hey, come from this side, not that side, because I didn't want somebody else to get blown up and just be this chain reaction. If you find one IED, you assume there's another. Right. And so I was just trying to talk them into where I was. When they finally got to me, they started working on me right away. And I just said, hey, man, say the Lord's Prayer with me, which was hilarious because I learned in that moment.
Nobody knows
I probably didn't know the Lord's Prayer. So it was like, our Father who art in heaven.
That's why you have somebody else say it with you.
Yeah.
Hey, fill in these gaps, will you?
We made our way through it. And what happened, well, I didn't know this till later. And we have a cool thing over at my work, a cool little special we did. But my eyes swelled shut. And I just kept saying, man, I'm sorry I screwed up. And so the battalion commander actually came over and like helped to take care of me and put me on the bird. Well, the guy that got hit in front of me, Daniel Greer, he ended up getting killed. A piece of the wall I was leaned over hit him in the head, and just the perfect spot, traumatic brain injury, took him. And so, that's the irony of war, though, right? Like, I stepped on the bomb. I'm responsible for it. He's just a bystander that, I lose my legs and he loses his life. But, that's war. That's the way that stuff happens, man.
It is, and that's hard for people to understand, but that is absolutely the truth. That is war. Did your eyes get did you burn? Did your eyes get burned?
No, I had on all the PPE. I had some Oakleys on, was it SF86 or whatever they're called,
glasses,
and as an EOD guy, there's certain parts of gear you're pretty stiffler about. Like, I always had a crotch protector and I always had glasses. I might not have, plates in my flak jacket because I'm lazy and it's too much weight with the C4 on my back, but I always had glasses and a groin protector. Those are lessons you see guys learn once.
Absolutely.
And then you're like, okay.
Yep, seen it firsthand too.
Yeah.
So, how long was it when you got hit to the time they got you back, transpo?
Took 4 days. I lost so much blood, and with a punctured lung, They could only get
Couldn't
me
fly
from southern Helmand to, I think it was Leatherneck first or Bagram. I can't remember. And I was there for like 12 hours. And then I think I was at Leatherneck for like 12 hours and then Bagram for 12 hours. So it took about a day to get me. I was in Afghanistan, and then I got to Germany. So I got hit on the 6th, and they brought me back conscious on the 8th in Germany. And when they knew I was going to live, up until that point, they didn't know. And so I guess they're like, there's no reason to wake this dude up. Just tell him he's going to die.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Guys, this sponsor, this is for you guys, all right? Let's talk about something we could all use a little bit more of right now. Sex. I said it, okay? Great sex. Guys, you can now increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com, that's blue like the color blue. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach, so you can be ready whenever the opportunity arises. Blue Chew is made in the USA. It's prescribed online by a licensed physician, so you don't have to go to the doctor or wait in line. It's even cheaper than a pharmacy, and they prepare and ship it right to you in a discreet package. No awkwardness, and you don't have to leave the house. If you could benefit from more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. And right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com. Get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code TNQ. All you guys have to do is pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BLUEChew.com. Promo code TNQ. Try it free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper choice, and we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. And remember, when you support our sponsors, you can make this podcast possible. So please be sure to use our promo code TNQ at BlueChew.com.
And so they woke me up on the 8th. That was when my family knew they didn't have to come to Germany. I was going to come to D.C., and then I didn't get to D.C. until the 10th because they had to do the blood transfusion, and like I just basically bled out. And so they just had to make sure I was going to take or whatever. And then I got to D.C. at Walter Reed on the 10th, so 4 days.
So what was the total extent of your injuries from that?
And what was it? Did y'all do any PD or battle damage BDA? Like what got you?
What's it?
What bit you?
Oh, yeah. Post-blast analysis, one of the other techs that was there is kind of our guru on post-blast analysis. Sorry, I'm falling off my chair here. So I actually lucked out and got a really good post-blast. So basically, it was just a pressure plate IED, and they had put the metallic components, which was basically the battery pack, up under that wall and tucked everything in so close to that wall that when we were sweeping with metal detectors, we couldn't find it, which is why we never stepped on it. So the fact that I got so close to that wall to look behind it at this piece of ordnance that my partner had put there is the only reason anyone ever stepped on it. And that's just kind of how things happen. But it was just a pressure plate IED. Back then they were using these plastic jugs. So it wasn't really a frag hazard. It was a blast hazard, which is part of the irony of the blast took my legs, but a frag from that wall actually is what took Daniel's life. And so those types of IEDs are the best ones to survive, because they don't put frag in them, so your metal detector doesn't find them. So if you're just past the blast radius, you're going to make it. And the blast doesn't go as far as the frag does. So just one of those things where, just happens.
I guess that wall actually put a little buffer in and it didn't vaporize you.
Yeah. The wall helped save my life.
Yeah, it took the brunt of it, right?
Right. Yeah, so it's crazy how it worked, yeah.
Because there's so many components to that blast. The brisance, what most people don't even know about. That first round that comes through there, they don't, when the cheeks start willing and all that, then that other stuff comes with it. That happened to us out, in the P sector in Ramadi.
Well, that's like if you're going to get hit, you'd rather get hit with C4 or TNT. Well, it depends on how close you are. If you're a few feet away, you'd rather it be C4. If you're a little bit closer, you want it to be TNT, because TNT won't cut you open. It's going to pick you up and throw you. C4 may not move you 2 feet, but it's going to cut right through you. And so the brisance is what you're talking about. Like the properties of the explosives is what creates different effects. So if I want to cut into a wall or a piece of steel, I'm going to shape C4 up on it. If I want to move that wall out of my way, I'm going to put TNT under it.
Right.
And so, depending on what the homemade explosive is and then how it's buried in the ground and what's around it, you're going to get those different effects. So the main charge that hit me worked more like TNT. It picked that wall up and through it. It picked me up and through it. It cut my legs off. That's just raw blast. That's not the cutting power of the explosive. And had it been more, I guess I call it high powered, high octane. Had it been more cutting effects like C4, it might not have moved me, but it might have went up through me more.
Right.
So
Hell, it could have torn that wall up even more and made that.
Yeah.
What was the? What was everything? What all happened to you once they got figured out?
It took both my legs above the knee. Unfortunately, it was on the right side of my body. And so it cut my leg on the right. It took all the muscle all the way up to like high hip. And they actually had some stuff there. A lot of guys say I was the first one they tried this on. They told me that, who knows? But they had this like synthetic subdermal stuff they use for skin graft. I've got a huge patch of skin graft on my right leg. It's huge. It's pretty much the entire right side of my right leg. But what that did was it allowed them to save length, and length is what matters when it comes to walking in prosthetics. So it tore my right leg up the worst. My right arm, I don't know if you can see, but it blew the inside of my right arm all the way up to my elbow. My right hand's been put together. I got a cadaver bone in my right arm. I lost my trigger finger, which sucked. And both my wrists were blown open, so I have fused wrists on both sides. But thankfully, internally, not a lot. I had a punctured lung, and that was about it. I'm learning now that it tore my shoulders up pretty bad, but I think just in recovery, there's so much else we were working on that we really didn't put any attention to them. So joints and arms.
Shoulders
legs.
look pretty good right now. I mean, I don't think you have any problems with them.
Yeah. It takes it's a whole ceremony of cocktail of
How long was that? How long? I mean, I know you're still recovering. It's an all. I mean, that's why we're bagging on you about how fit you are, because it's an everyday thing. I know you got to stay with it, because the minute we stop doing all that is when we really fall apart. Everything they put. Yeah.
No, we're working to keep it together is what we're doing. You guys know that. The recovery, there's kind of two parts to the recovery. There's recovery and rehabilitation. Recovery is they're doing surgery on you, they're reattaching muscles, and your body's healing it.
Correct. They didn't stick a leg on you. They're not trying to put you up and move you. You're just your body's healing. That's right. Recovery.
Yeah, and I did surgery on pretty much everything that was injured Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every week for 6 weeks, and that was recovery. Then that was August, September. It took till mid-October to be healed. And starting mid-October, they moved me from what used to be just Naval Bethesda over to Army Walter Reed, and I started doing my rehab. I started walking in February 2011. So I was injured August 2010. I started walking in February 2011, and I went back to school and back to work in June 2011. So it took 10 months to go from getting blown up to independence.
Not even a year.
No, I was not going to stay in that hospital, man. That was not going to happen.
I was going to say, how much of that was a mental game on your part? Because
a lot of it.
I can't imagine how
your body's got to heal.
was.
I made a deal with my process that if I could walk a lap around the track the day he gave me my legs with nothing more than 2 canes, I could walk out the door in them. And to give you an idea, the actual process is when they put you up on working knees, you get in this harness with a track that kind of holds you up, and you do that until you can do a walker, and then you do that till you can do 2 canes, and then 1 cane and no cane. And I told him if my very first lap I did on my own with just 2 canes, I could leave with them. And I did. I did 3 laps the first time I put them on with 2 canes. Walked out the door. I wanted to celebrate, went to the Cheesecake Factory, and fell like a damn jelly all night long. It was terrible. But that helped speed it up a couple of months at least.
It's the attitude. We snuck him out of the hospital, dude, after he was in a helicopter crash, and we immediately had to bring him back, right? But because for anybody who's in the hospital right now, because that's the word. I mean, they're great at patching you up, man. But once we stay in there for a while, it's kind of like debilitating again.
Your soul starts to die.
Yeah, even when you got all your boys around you, because a lot of them rotate. It's like they're in and out of there so fast you can't develop that bond, and that's kind of what we need to motivate. Because I've never seen you down,
ever,
and that's
other than falling down.
Right.
We
all fall down. I fall down.
He busts his ass all the time.
I fall down all the time, bro.
Even every time I see he falls down. I don't mind it. You busted your ass that shoot a couple weeks ago we were together, and I missed it.
That's why our attitudes are so good, because we're always having to pick ourselves up, right? That's how you get strong, man.
Busted up Caliche Rock, skint your arms, Good.
It was bad too
digger.
because I watched that episode.
did
It's
see
like
the
the whole
video.
time you could tell I'm sitting there going, "Oh, like, don't show
Wait,
it."
were you
Don't-
complaining about an elbow pain now after everything? That's the worst, right? When you get into this mode and everyone's like, now you're complaining about knee pain? It's like, and then you look over and it's like, well, he doesn't even have knees. I'm like, all right, fine.
So, we all can't imagine everything you had to go through. I mean, I'm sure the family support was there and everything while you were going through this. Can you?
What was the kick, man? The one when you're just sitting there and it's like, okay, this sucks.
Yeah, a two-part, man. So, I don't share a lot about my personal life because, like now that I'm in the public eye, I just don't need people up in my butt about stuff. But so when I got injured, I had just found out before that appointment I had a 5-month-old son. Just, being a young Marine, not her fault, not mine. It was a very intimate one-day relationship. And I found out when he was 5 months old, I had a kid, he was mine. She happened to be from my hometown, so that helped. And so, like, when I deployed, it was like, game on. I got to be a dad. I got to live through this. Up until that point, I had nothing to lose. And while I was on deployment, I started communicating with my high school sweetheart again that I had not dated in 6 years. And so when I got hurt, they were both at the hospital. So it's like I deployed this really good shape single Marine with no responsibilities. And I came home, a dude, bandaged up on all 4 limbs with a son and a girlfriend. And so, but the two of them was motivation every single day. It's like, look, man, I got to get out of this hospital bed because I got responsibilities. I'm a son and my parents need me. My sister needs me. This new girlfriend that I think I'm in love with needs me. This kid deserves a dad. Like, it's not his fault I went and got blown up. He still needs somebody to throw the ball with, somebody to whip his tail when he's acting stupid and go out and show him how to hunt and fish and do those things. And it's like, I better figure this out. Oh, and by the way, I'm not going to take bombs apart for a living anymore. Obviously, I wasn't that good at it. So I better learn and I better go make some money, and like, I just never accepted that life's responsibilities were going to be any different for me because I got blown up or because I was a veteran, which, we could get on the soapbox about that. Sure. And the way veterans are now. And it's like, for me, like that was just, nobody ever posed the question of, hey, you've got a pension. Are you going to go play video games? Like that was never even introduced to me. So that wasn't how I looked at it. And the way I got through it was every time they'd bring my lunch in, because I was in the hospital bed, I couldn't leave. I'd kick everybody out of the room. And however long it took me to eat lunch, I'd cuss and scream and cry and like just get it all out. And I'd set a 30-minute alarm. Then after a week, I didn't need 30 minutes, just 20 or 15. And then one day they brought the lunch in and we're cutting up and joking and I'm eating my lunch and I realized like nobody's left. I didn't ask them to. I don't need that anymore. I've accepted my circumstance and I'm going to make something of it. And so that's kind of how I did it. And I know there were days that were probably much worse than others. Thankfully, I just don't remember them, and that's okay too.
Well, that's how you know that you had the good ones, because you got to measure them off those bad ones. And I mean, a lot of people, that's amazing. Because some people look at it, they wake up, their legs are gone, they're blown up, punctured lung, look over, they got a brand new kid, 2 girls in there that are pissed off about everything. I mean, that's a dismal place to be.
Great opportunity to give
Straight
up.
Straight up. But then if you look at it that way, or you look at, this is a great place to be. I'm looking at what needs to keep me going, as opposed to what's keeping me down, right. and that's just brilliant.
I had a bad day at the office. Now this is what I got to look forward to. I got a baby boy. I got a beautiful girlfriend.
Yeah,
let's jam.
Let me get up out of this bed and go. Yeah.
But you took it. I give you credit, Joey, man. You took it from knocking on death's door to an amazing life.
Dude.
Exiting when you got out of the military. I mean, your passions, they span.
I'm not complimenting you anymore, though.
Yeah.
That's freaking, I think you're
start talking shit about you. God damn, you're ugly.
I don't even like your gun room. Nobody shoots those guns.
They're just
bro, you have, seriously. To pull yourself up by your bootstraps, man, and go back at it and what you're...
If you add it together where you came from, you gave us a little bit backstory on where you came from. You graduated high school. Most people don't do that. You took it to the extreme, in my opinion. Honestly, you set the example of what can be accomplished no matter who or what or where you come from.
And what happens to you?
The Team Never Quit podcast is sponsored by Fight Camp. Hey guys, if you've ever done boxing, kickboxing, or thought about maybe learning how to, but now you're just too busy or just can't access a good gym, you definitely need to check out Fight Camp. I've actually wanted to learn for a while, but there's not really any good fighting gyms kind of near where I'm at here in the country, and so I've just never gotten into it. The cool thing about Fight Camp is they provide everything you need to start boxing from home. That means amazing at-home boxing equipment along with new boxing and bodyweight workouts released every single week. It really is the perfect at-home workout for anyone. The best thing about it is it's made for absolute beginners to experienced boxers who want to work from home, which means if you've never picked up gloves in your life or you've been doing it for the last 20 years, there's going to be a program for you with Fight Camp. Fight Camp is a great way to learn boxing and kickboxing while also improving your fitness with authentic workouts, all while learning at your own pace from home. So maybe you need to cut a couple of those COVID quarantine pounds, but you don't want to do it the old school way with push-ups, pull-ups, and running. Fight Camp is a great way to just drop some pounds and have some fun at the same time. Fight Camp uses new technology that tracks each punch you throw to measure speed, volume, output, and you can even compete on a leaderboard with people all around the United States. And now with their recently released Versus mode, you can actually challenge anyone to a workout, then go head to head and see who wins. This brings out the competitive nature in everyone, and it makes you work out so much harder without you even realizing it. It is a great holiday gift. Fight Camp is a perfect gift for anyone who wants to take their fitness to the next level or for someone who has struggled with finding a workout that keeps them excited. Fight Camp is a gift the entire family can enjoy and get competitive on. So if you want to get a Christmas gift for me, that's what it is. Fight Camp. I'll take it. Fight Camp offers flexible financing for as low as 0% APR and $0 down. And right now, as a limited time holiday offer, you can get free shipping and a gift valued up to $109 with every Fight Camp package. Just go to joinfightcamp.com/TNQP. That's right. Get free shipping and a gift valued up to $109 with your purchase. Bring an authentic boxing and kickboxing gym into your home with Fight Camp. To get your free gift, just go to joinfightcamp.com/TNQP. That's joinfightcamp.com/TNQP. You guys check them out.
I mean, like, you guys understand this. You want me to do something, tell me I can't do it. And I think I learned that from my dad. My dad was 5'8". His brothers and dad were over 6'2". I was 6'1".
Oh, so he was always pissed off then, right?
There you go. And he enjoyed a little Budweiser full strength, he would call it, red label, every evening. And he wasn't a mean guy, but I mean, listen, tell that man he couldn't do something and he'd do it to perfection. And I have a much different personality. Like, I'm outgoing and I like to hear myself talk. He did not. But I think he taught me, like, he used to say, anything worth doing is worth doing right, and nothing worthwhile is ever easy. And he'd say that all the time. And if you're brick and block, Mason, you need to believe those two things, or you're not going to have a job, or you're not going to show up to do it. And so, like, those things helped a lot. And then from there, you just got to, I mean, everything's a binary choice, right? Like, losing my legs is equally the worst and best thing that ever happened to me. It's really just up to me. And I like to be in control. Like, I jumped out of an airplane solo 5 times before I jumped out tandem because it scared me to death to have somebody else pulling the chute. And so, like, if I can find a way to be in control of my destiny, hey, it's game on, man. Let's go get it done. I might not succeed at everything, but I'll be there to find out.
So once you got back up on step and you got out of the service, you educated yourself. Yeah. You got in and around the veteran community as an advocate for health and wellness, for sure. And those just seemed like pavers to, I mean, now you're a Fox News contributor. And I mean, you guys are
people seek your guidance now. Like when you come up and people listen to what that takes a while. I mean, in the beginning, we just have an opinion, and everyone has one of those, and they all stink kind of deal, right? After that, your perspective drops in, then your wisdom comes in. But I mean, going through all those tribulations that you went through, you can't go back in time, but you can maybe kind of pull your future backwards. And as you started setting the standard for what you were to become, and you never fought. That's a Marine too. You guys are all like, and your gal, man, y'all just like that. But yeah, that's a great point though.
Well, and you guys get this, and Morgan, like, I've actually worked with you, but you guys know this from your experience. It's like, I just wanted to go and find a talent and use it. Like, I really didn't care what that was or where it went. And the circumstances around me dictated I could talk well. I mean, and it's truth. I talk with an accent and I use some words that probably aren't real, but I can form sentences pretty well. Like, that's a talent I have. And up until I got hurt, I probably just used it to pick up women. So now I can use this talent towards something other than
That's why that's
something
there
for me, and so I was like, I would go around every Thursday night and visit the guys that couldn't leave their room that hadn't got prosthetics yet, to show them what the prosthetics are, and from the horse's mouth what that journey was going to look like. I could talk them through it. And that gained attention. And then nonprofits came asking, like, would you help us do this? Would you help us do that? And one of them was Boot Campaign out in Texas. And it's so funny to me, man. I've met some of them my age with similar experiences, like, hey, man, how do I get from, like, leaving the military to where you are? And I was like, don't try to, because I did not. Like, I worked for Boot Campaign free manual labor for 3 years. And finally, the lady that started it goes, Joey, I've got to pay you or this is unethical. And like, that's how it started. During that time, I went to school and just tried to soak it all in. And as far as like advocating for veterans, it was simple. It's like, people are going to talk to me. Make what I have to say mean something for somebody else. And I knew the veteran experience more than any of it. And then I moved that into politics as I finished my education, worked in the business world, had a job outside the government, and did things and learned. The Second Amendment's a big thing for me. Conservative politics are important to me, but picking a team isn't. Like, I don't really care who the quarterback is. These are the issues that are important to me. And I got involved that way, just kind of helping advocate for things that I believed in. And like you guys said, if you can make it through war, if you can go to war with a group of guys from all over the country, different color, different ethnicity, you like different food, different college football teams,
of course,
and learn to love those people, politics is easy because you can take so much of the emotion out of it. And that's kind of where it all led. And I couldn't tell you how it got there, but I enjoy it.
Life gets it there.
Because you caught the eye
That's
of Zach Brown and worked for him for a little while, huh?
I did. Yeah, I met Zach through Boot Campaign. I ended up working. He thought I would just kind of use my talent to speak to help his nonprofit efforts. But having been in the nonprofit world, helping run a nonprofit, you sit in boardrooms and businesses and you literally ask them for something and offer to give them nothing. And you talk them into it. Well, I went to work for Zach, and between the music business and all these other businesses, now I can make deals to where I'm asking for something and giving something. So I ended up working on the business side even more than the nonprofit and the nonprofit, and got a lot of great experience there. And then Fox picked me up, and I decided to put all my time towards that. Now I get I'm a Georgia boy bomb tech Marine who went to Georgetown to learn liberal studies and convinced a news organization to give me a hunting show. I couldn't tell you how any of this happened.
Are we recording this?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what now? I mean, tell us how people. What are you into now? Tell our listeners, man, how they can find you and follow you.
Well, I mean, you can find me on this podcast. This was a lot of fun.
Damn right.
If you're going to go past this, I'm a contributor and a host for Fox News and Fox Nation. So I host the Fox Nation Outdoors, which is a lifestyle hunting show on Fox's streaming service. I get celebrities like you guys to come hunt with me. This is an official invitation if you guys would like to come next
Fox
season.
News isn't ready to have all three of us together.
Oh, I'm telling you. It'll be a multi-episode experience with a lot of
Get Hegseth and grab a couple of them others. Get Kill Me down there. Tell Ducey to get in there and start cooking something.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to take it back to him and let him cook it.
Right.
And then I've got a small podcast called Proud American on Fox News Radio. And then I chime in on current events on Fox News and Fox Business from time to time. And outside of that, through Team Never Quit Speakers Bureau, I'll go do some speaking from time to time. And haven't got to go do it with you guys in a while, but it's always fun to be connected with y'all that way. And I believe in everything you guys do, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
We do have fun, man. How's the family? Everybody good?
We got a new addition on the deck.
I do, man. I've got an July, so do the math, carry the 17-month-old daughter. And dude, that's a different world. I got an 11-year-old son, and his first 11 years were easier than her first 11 months. And she's not a bad kid. It's just a daughter's so much different.
They're different.
Like,
Completely different. Completely different. He doesn't have one. I do.
Dude, everything in my house is covered in glitter. I watch more Disney princess movies than I knew existed. If any music plays, my phone can ring and it sounds like music, and she's dancing and she's using moves I don't think any little girl should know, much less a 16-month-old. It's just crazy.
Okay, so the boys with their toys that they get, they have the little pieces that that get lost and kind of drop on the ground.
Yeah.
The daughters stand by. There's millions of those things, man. You'll be finding them forever, picking them out of your ear, whatever. Just have fun.
Well, I always thought like girls wanted less expensive things more often, and boys wanted like the big ticket items, like a 4-wheeler. And my son's like that. Like I bought him a 410, and he's out shooting me with my 12 gauge, so now I got to buy him a 20 gauge, and that's kind of expensive. But my daughter, it's like, they make these American Girl dolls that look like the Barbie doll from Walmart, but cost $1 million. It's like, why does this cost so much money? Like everything, backpacks from Disney, like, and maybe Meg's, maybe she's a little bit a part of this problem, but it's like there's just no end in sight.
Yeah, don't worry about that, man. You don't have to worry about everybody stepping on a Lego. All right, you think that bomb hurt when it cut you down, bro? Stepping on a Lego is a different story altogether. Just stand by the separation. You guys pretty good. I have Hunter's 22, and then I have the 9, and the Adelaide's the youngest, man. But
Yeah.
It's a blast. Yeah. It's a blast, dude. Congratulations.
You're right about the toys, man. Every time I step on one, I see my light flash before my eyes because I just feel my legs going. Like my daughter has put me through more post-traumatic stress, leaving toys out and me just falling like a rag doll than war ever could. But it's worth every minute of it.
Yeah, that's why he's back in shape. He's got a little daughter.
Yeah.
And we'll stay away when they come of age, like when Adelaide starts dating, we're all going to rally up in one of the gun rooms. The boyfriend's got to come in. I got lines planned out and everything, bro. It's going to be a real thing. We'll video.
Joey, leave the listeners with one piece of never quit advice. What would you leave the listeners with?
Yeah, my dad said it best. I kind of threw it out there earlier. Anything worth your time, anything worth the effort in your hands is worth doing right. And it's faster to do it right the first time than to screw it up and go back. And I know that's a little bit cliche, but if you just apply that to anything, you'll learn that, no matter what it is you have to do today, I always say, get up, get over it, get going. Quit whining about it. Quit complaining about it. Get up and go do it and do it right.
Great advice.
Well, we love you, buddy. Thanks for sharing an hour with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode of the show. Let us know what you think. Where can people follow you again on social media?
It's Johnny_Joey on all platforms.
Perfect. Make sure to follow him. Follow us on social media. teamneverquit.com/social. That's what it's called. teamneverquit.com/social. And subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you get your podcast. We drop episodes every single week. See you guys.
All right, brother. We out. I want
Later,
that.
guys.
I want that over and under in the middle. The long one. Pretty one.
This is the Team Never Quit Podcast. So buckle up, Buttercup.